I'm in my 50s now, and at this point, I'm pretty sure no one's coming to arrest me for this. Though honestly, I'm still amazed that it never caught up with me. I've spent decades wondering how something this reckless, this stupid, just slipped through the cracks. This happened back in the early 1980s, when ATMs were still kind of a novelty. People trusted them the same way they trusted vending machines. You put something in, money came out, and no one thought too hard about the mechanics. Banks were just beginning to roll out features to make ATMs more convenient and future-leaning. But the systems behind them weren't nearly as sophisticated as they are now. One of those features was something called deposit with cashback. It sounds bizarre today, but back then, it worked on what basically was the honor system. You'd put a check into an envelope, tell the ATM how much it was for, and the machine would give you cash immediately, before a human being ever verified what was inside. The idea was that the envelope would be processed later, after the money was already in your hands. To a bored young guy in 1984, that sounded a lot like an opportunity. I first heard about this flaw the same way most great bad ideas spread in the 80s. Some older teenager bragging about it at a party, swearing that he knew a guy who had done it. Now, half the stories that floated around back then were complete fiction. But the more I listened, the more I realized that this wasn't hype. It was just an unpolished system that relied on people being honest. And 17-year-old me, I wasn't exactly thinking about morality. I was thinking about gas money, cheap beer, and the fact that I was dead broke. The first time I tested it, my heart was pounding so hard that I thought it might knock me over. It felt like walking into a bank robbery wearing a t-shirt and jean shorts. All I did was put an empty envelope into the ATM and leave it unsealed. That part was important because later I could claim that the envelope had spilled open, effectively claiming that the bank had lost my money. I typed in an amount, the machine spat out the cash, and then I walked away trying not to look like someone about to spontaneously combust. 1 week later, the bank contacted me. "Sir, that envelope was empty." I played dumb, politely insisted that I had put the check in. I apologized if there had been a mistake, and for whatever reason, Bay Bank let it slide. Maybe they were overwhelmed. Maybe they just assumed that it was a one-time fluke. Hell, maybe even the employee handling my account just didn't care enough to escalate it. But the moment I realized that no one was coming after me, something in my brain clicked. If I could get away with this once, how many times could I get away with it? That summer, my family rented a cottage in Hyannis, Massachusetts for about 2 weeks. This was supposed to be a relaxing vacation. But for me, it became the staging ground for a heist that I still can't believe worked. Over those 2 weeks, I visited 5 different banks across the area. I opened savings accounts at each one, using the cottage's address as my own. Back then, you didn't need much to open an account. Some ID, a signature, and an address. There was no cross-checking and no databases comparing activity in real time back then. They even mailed me my ATM cards within a few days. Every new envelope that arrived felt like I was being handed a lottery ticket. I knew that timing mattered for this. ATMs were typically checked on Mondays, so the window to exploit this glitch was Thursday through early Monday morning. That gave me 4.5 days, 5 banks, and a $400 limit per deposit with cash back. I treated it like a job. Thursday, make the rounds. Friday, repeat the loop. Saturday, Sunday, 2 more times. Early Monday, hit the machines one last time before the armored truck crews did their sweeps. It didn't even feel real. I'd approach the machine convinced that this time a siren would go off, a hand would grab my shoulder, or something else would blow my cover. But each time the cash slid out like the machine was thanking me for my business. When all the dust settled, I had walked away with $10,000 in 1984 money, which is, when adjusted for inflation, about $40,000 in 2025 money. No one questioned me. No police ever knocked on the door, and no banker ever asked me to come in for a talk. Nothing. The only consequence came about 5 years later, when I was 22 and in college. I went to open a legitimate bank account, and every bank turned me away. Those first few times, no explanation was given. But one finally pulled me aside and said, "Your name is on an FDIC blacklist. You've been marked as someone that banks shouldn't do business with." I feigned that this was some misunderstanding. I acted outraged and asked, what are my steps to combat this? I left that branch with a bunch of paperwork and an address for where to send these files. But I never had any real desire to do so. That was only for appearances. And funny enough, that was the only punishment. No charges, no fines, no legal trouble, just this invisible red flag that kept me from opening accounts for a while. Well, here we are 40 years later. I have a perfectly normal bank account, a normal job, and a normal life. Apparently, this little crime never made it into any system that actually matters. It's the only time in my life I can honestly say that I had ridiculous, undeserved luck. But here's the part that I regret, and also the part that I think about whenever I remember that summer. I blew that money. Back then, $10,000 could have been a down payment on a house, could have bought a car outright. It could have been invested into something that would grow over the years. But instead, girls, weed, beer. Stuff that felt important at the time, and now barely registers as more than a blurry, nostalgic memory. Looking back, it's almost poetic. I pulled off this stupid, improbable scheme, got away with it completely, and then wasted every single dollar on things that evaporated the second they were enjoyed. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not exactly ashamed either. It sits somewhere in the middle. Just a piece of my past that feels almost too absurd to have really happened. What I know is this. For one summer, I gamed the banking system and walked away untouched. If I'd have been smarter, that money could have built something lasting. Instead, it paid for memories that only live on in my mind, and even those are a little bit fuzzy now. I, a 44-year-old female, walked in on my son, an 18-year-old male, having sex with my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, at the family cabin, and I think they've been having sex for a while. My brother, 37-year-old male, moved in with us in February with both his wife and 2 children. My husband and I have a big house on a farm. My husband is a farmer by trade. And with everyone working from home, we thought it would be a good chance to stay together as a family and for my nieces to spend time on the farm. I have 3 children myself, and all 3 of them live with us. The eldest is our 18-year-old boy. The other 2 are our 16 and 13-year-old girls. On the day my brother arrived, I went to buy groceries with my son, and he went to the pharmacy to get his gym supplements while I bought the food. I saw condoms in my son's plastic bag when we got back home. 2 packs with 36 condoms each, so 72 in total. I didn't think anything of it at the time, figuring that maybe he'd just gotten a girlfriend and, of course, wanted to be safe. Everything was fine. Everyone got along. My sister-in-law and son would go on an early run around the farm, and everything seemed normal until last month, when they left on their run one day, but I was up baking and I never saw them make any rounds around the farm, which I thought was weird. I asked about it, and they said they decided to hit the road. Again, I thought nothing of this. Everything seemed normal. My sister-in-law and son seemed to have a very good bond. Well, yesterday, I was coming from a friend's house early in the morning. The sun wasn't even up yet. It was still a bit dark, but I saw that the cabin we have on the farm was open and the light was on. I thought maybe one of our employees had forgotten to lock up, so I went to close the door and switch off the lights. But as I got closer, I heard the unmistakable noises of people having sex. In an utterly confused state, of course I took a peek, only to find that it was my son and sister-in-law having sex. I couldn't even confront them in the moment. I was so in shock. Now, I still haven't told anyone what I saw, and I don't know what to do. Should I confront them? Should I tell my brother? Should I tell my husband? I just don't know. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and I'm sure they've been having sex for a while from all the condoms. My son was always at the house, never brought over a girlfriend, so this is the only explanation I can see. Obviously, I'm doubting the validity of any run at all. and the closeness of their relationship makes so much more sense now. Update. I first want to thank everyone for all the advice that I got from my original post. I'm sorry for not replying to any of the comments. I'm sure you can imagine my head was all over the place. I'll try to keep this update short. As was suggested by many of the commenters, I decided to tell my husband first and then proceed from there. My husband absolutely lost it. He first thought it was a joke, but once it was made clear that that wasn't the case, he came apart at the seams. We talked about the issue and we decided we should first talk to our son before telling my brother. We confronted our son with what I saw. He already knew what was going on as he had seen my Reddit post and put two and two together. He didn't attempt to deny anything. He confessed. He told us that he and sister-in-law had been having sex since February of last year, when he was 17. My son said it started at sister-in-law's birthday party, one that he attended. They got drunk and had sex in a bathroom. Since then, they've been meeting at hotels and sneaking off at family gatherings. A little additional information. Son claims that sister-in-law was the one who initiated sex the first time. She was the one booking hotel rooms, buying my son dinners and lunches. Apparently, he was even receiving an allowance from her. After my son's confession, my husband continued to lose it. He told my son to leave the house, go to our apartment in town as he didn't want to see him face to face at the moment. When my son was gone, my husband stormed right into my brother's room and told my brother everything. Sister-in-law wasn't in the house at that moment. My brother, predictably, lost it as well. He packed up his stuff on site, took the kids, and left. Before he walked out the door, though, he asked where my son had gone. He said he wanted to teach him a lesson. We didn't tell him, out of concern for the safety of my child. My brother eventually left. Sister-in-law didn't return. I think my brother might have called her, or my son warned her, and she's afraid to come back. I still have all of her things sitting in my house. In all the screaming and shouting, my daughters heard everything, and they're devastated that their family might be ruined. They miss their brother and are afraid my husband won't ever let him in the house again. My husband has made it clear that he hates all forms of infidelity to the core and has always drilled this into our two eldest children, that they must never cheat on anyone or be in a relationship with someone who is also in a relationship. I know I did nothing wrong in this, but how am I ever going to look my brother in the eye again? He won't answer calls or texts from me. My husband says I should just give him time to heal. My son has since left our apartment because he's afraid of what my brother will do to him, and now he's hiding at a friend's house, and he won't tell us which friend. Still complete radio silence from sister-in-law. From this point, I really have no clue where this is going. It's still relatively fresh, but I can't underscore enough just how wild it is to watch your family unravel in real time right in front of you. Part of me wishes that I hadn't stumbled upon what I did, but another part of me wonders how much further things could have gone and what greater ramifications would present themselves if it didn't come out when it did. I'd like to say that I'll be back with more updates, but at this point, I don't think I will be. Hey guys, if you're into the content that we create, we've got a Patreon where you can support the show and get early access to new episodes before everyone else. Just head on over to patreon.com/Malevolent Mischief or check the link in the description and join our community today. Today I speak. This is my story written in therapy for my abuser, a guy famous for GTL, slicked up hair, and yeah buddies. I was 21 years old. In fact, I had just turned 21 a few weeks prior. It was my birthday trip with my friends to Vegas, celebrating my legal drinking age. What better place to be, right? I had known about you for about a year before the trip. We met in Charlotte after one of your shows and stayed in touch for months afterwards, planning to come visit each other. We decided my trip to Vegas was the perfect time to see each other again. You lived there, had a house there, everything. I remember feeling so excited. I just couldn't wait to see you again. Little did I know then, you were going to rape me. You were 13 years older than me. Back then, the age difference excited me. You were older, more experienced, had more money than me. You should have known better. I was 25 when I realized what you had done. Why did it take so long? Because I trusted you, and I didn't trust myself. You fixed me 2 drinks that night. You got out of the hot tub, went into your kitchen, and told me to wait there, that you'd be right back. You didn't want me to have to get out of the water. I didn't think anything of it because, again, I trusted you. I drank the first one, and you went to get me another. I didn't finish the second, maybe only half. Then a little while later, I blacked out. I can only remember that night in bits and pieces, as if I were taking mere snapshots in my mind. I woke up the next morning in your bed, confused as to why I couldn't remember the night before. I only had 1.5 drinks, not nearly enough to black out. But I trusted you. So I blamed myself. Maybe the drinks were stronger than I thought. Maybe I can't hold my alcohol as well as I thought. Maybe I didn't eat enough during the day. Maybe the accumulation of all the alcohol I've had the past few days finally caught up to me. Maybe. With every maybe, I blamed myself and dismissed you from any of the responsibility. You played your cards well. I'll give you that. I texted you the next day asking what happened. Did we have sex? How many times? You said 3. I remember 0. I felt like I knew you, that we had some sort of connection. We had talked with each other for so long, after all. When we were together, you were such a gentleman. You treated me with respect, something that I didn't expect. You opened up to me about your life, your family, and I did the same. You even had a nickname for me. I was your Southern Belle. How dare you do this to me? That night, July 17th, you took a piece of me that I won't ever get back. I just want to ask, was it worth it? You took away my control over the situation, over my body. You took away my ability to consent. You took away all of the memories I wanted to keep from that night. You took away the image I held of you for so long. You took away my feeling of safety. But you didn't take away my ability to heal, to recover, to trust again, to feel safe once more. I've worked my ass off for over a year in therapy to regain those things, and I'm so incredibly proud of myself. You may be on TV for years to come, but you don't incite the fear that you once did when I see your face or hear your voice. I just simply turn to a different channel. You may come to my city on tour again, but I won't run away anymore. I'll stand firmly in the safe place that I've worked so hard to establish. You may show up in my dreams from time to time, but when I wake up, I'll know that it's just that, a dream, that there's nothing to be afraid of. I'll never know why you put a date drug in my drink, what you did to me that night, or why I was unexplainably terrified of you for so long. But you don't control me anymore. And I have to say that I'll never forget, but I forgive you. If any of you out there have had a different experience with this person, good, I'm glad. But it doesn't negate his monstrous side. Monsters aren't monsters all the time.